Good day. My name is Richard Darko. Today is Wednesday. It's Wednesday, 3rd December 2025. Very soon, the African Cup of Nations will be kicking off in Morocco, and I'm here to give you a bit history of the African Cup of Nations. The AFCON, that is the African Cup of Nations, popularly known as the AFCON, is a main biennial international men's football competition in Africa. It is sanctioned by the Confederation of African Football, CAF, which was first held in 1957. It is sanctioned by the Confederation of African Football and was first held in 1957. Since 1968, it has been held every 2 years, switching to odd numbers years in 2013. The first tournament was held in 1957 and was hosted by Sudan. Egypt was the eventual winners of that competition, of that year's competition. So the inaugural competition was won by Egypt. There were only three teams: Sudan, Egypt, and Ethiopia. South Africa was originally scheduled to join the three, but was disqualified due to the apartheid policies of the then government in power. South Africa was disqualified due to its refusal to enter a multiracial team. They wanted to enter that competition with only white team, but the organizer said no, it is an African Cup, so it has to be black and white, or Indians and blacks, whatever, but not only white. So that's why they got disqualified. Only two games took place in 1957. Both games were played in the municipal stadium in the Sudanese capital of Khartoum. Since then, the tournament has expanded greatly, making it necessary to hold a qualifying tournament. In 1957 and 1959, only three teams took part. The first time teams will have to qualify was 1962, and there were four participants in the final tournament. The participants grew to six in 1963 and 1965, which Ghana won both. Ghana won 1963 and 1965. Yeah, I remember very well. From 1968 to 1990, the participants grew to eight. In 1992 and 1994, it grew to 12 teams. So just like in 1963 and 1965, there were two groups of three. Yeah, two groups of three. Winners of each group have to play for the final, and the runner-ups in the groups will have to play for third place final. From 1996 to 2017, the participants grew to 16 teams. It finally grew to its current number of 24 participants in 2017. 2019. Yeah. Egypt is the most successful nation in the AFCON history. It has won 7 titles. They won it in 1957, 1959, 1986, 1998, 2006, 2008, and 2010. Yeah, again, 1957, 1959, 1986, 1998, 2006, 2008. Ghana hosted 2008, and 2010, which Angola to hosted. So they have won 7 titles in their history of the AFCON, followed by Cameroon with 5 titles in 1984, 1988, 2000, 2002, and 2007. Ghana is third with wins in 1963, 1965, 1978, and 1982. In fact, when Ghana won its fourth and last tournament in 1982, that is 43 years ago, Cameroon hadn't won even a single tournament. That is that is some feat. Yeah. The last time Ghana won the Nations Cup was Libya 1982. That was That was some time ago. Very long time ago. Yeah. Um, both Nigeria and Ivory Coast have 3 titles each. Yeah, both Nigeria and Ivory Coast, they have 3 titles each. Cote d'Ivoire won it in 92. The first time they won it was 92. It was against Ghana, when they had to win on penalties, 11-10. That is the longest penalty in the Cup of Nations history. Yeah. They won it in 92. They won it again in 2012, and they won it again the last edition. They won it 2023. Yeah, they've won 3, and Nigeria won it in that is 1980, 1994, and I think 2015. Yeah, Nigeria won it 2015. Yeah. That is 2013. Yeah, they won in 1980, 1994, and 2013. Yeah, I'm too old. Okay, Algeria have won it twice. Algeria and DR Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, have won it twice. Algeria won it in 1990 and 2019. Yeah. 1990 and 2019. That is when Algeria won it, and Democratic Republic of Congo won it in 1974 and 1968. They won it first in 1968 and 1974. For 1968, I remember they beat Ghana. Yeah, they beat Ghana in the finals, and they won it in 1974 when they beat Zambia. Zambia has won it once in 2012. Sudan won it once in 1970. Ethiopia won it once in 1962. Morocco has won it once in 1976. That's a long time, 49 years ago. Tunisia has won it once in 2014. And Congo Brazzaville has won it once in 1962. South Africa has won it once in 1996. And then Senegal won it once in 2021. Ghana holds the record for the most consecutive finals. Yeah, which is 4. They hold the record for the most consecutive finals, which is 4. They went to the finals in 1963, 1965, 1968, and 1970. They won 1963, won 1968, but lost 1968 and 1970. Yeah, they've been to the finals 4 consecutive times. They hold that record. As a matter of fact, they have been to the finals 9 times and won only, I think, only 4. Yeah, they won only 4. Egypt holds the second, the record for the most finals. Yeah, Egypt holds the record for the most finals, and the record for most finals is 10. Yeah, they hold the record for the most finals. They won it in 1957. I first told you 1957, 1959, 1986, 1998, again, 2006, 2008, and 2010. Yeah, Egypt, they've won it that match. DR Congo and Congo Brazzaville, the 2 Congos, they hold the unblemished record of never been beaten at the finals. Yeah. Congo Brazzaville went to the finals in 1972 and won it. Yeah, they beat Mali and won it. And Congo DR went to the finals in 1968, beat Ghana and won it, and beat Zambia in the finals in 1974 and also won it. Hassan Shiata from Egypt. Hassan Shiata of Egypt is the first and the last coach to win 3 consecutive Nations Cups. Yeah, he's a coach. He was a coach for Egypt. He won it in 2006, 2008, and 2010. In fact, he has won 3 Nations Cup. And apart from him, CK Jemfi, that's Charles Kumi Jemfi, popularly referred to as CK Jemfi of Ghana. He's another coach who has also won 3 Nations Cup as a coach, but he did not win it consecutively. You know what I mean? He did not win consecutive. The Hassan Shiata won consecutively in 2006, 2008, and 2010. But CK Jemfi won it in 63, 65, and 82. You understand what I mean? Yeah. He has won that. So the AFCON has produced 2 coaches who have won it the most. In Hassan Shiata and Charles Kumi Jemfi of Ghana. Samuel Eto'o is the all-time top scorer. He's on 18 goals, followed by Laurent Poku of Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire. He also has 14 goals. He scored all the 14 goals, or he scored the 14 goals in 2 tournaments, 1968 and 1970. Nigeria's Rashid Yekini is 3rd on a list of all-time top scorers with 13 goals. From 1976 to 1996, the most goals a player has to score to win that accolade were between 3 and 5. Yeah, to win the goal king, you have to score between 3, 4, or 5 goals to win the accolade from 1976 to 1996. That is within 20 years interval. You couldn't win the Nations Cup with more than 5 goals or less than 3 goals. You understand what I mean? In 1998, 2 players, Hussam Hassan of Egypt and Benek McCarthy of South Africa, both of them got 7 goals. Yeah, both of them got 7 goals. The goals dipped again to between 3 and 5, and from 1998 to 2021 until Vincent Abubakar scored 8 goals in 2021 to win the Golden Boot Award. It was the second time someone has to win with 8 goals. The first was Laurent Poku in 1970. Remember, I told you Laurent Poku scored 14 goals in 2 tournaments. He scored 8 goals in 1970 and 6 goals in 1968 to get his to get on the chart for being on the top scorer, the all-time top scorer, 14. In fact, the record for the most goals in a single tournament goes to DR Congo's Pierre Mulamba Ndiaye. Yeah, the record for the most goals in the Nations Cup goes to Pierre Mulamba Ndiaye. In 1974, he scored 9 goals in 5 games. Yep, 9 goals in 5 games. He scored 4 goals in the finals alone. Yeah, at the finals of 1974, a Nations Cup played at Cairo International Sports Stadium on 12th of March 1974. DR Congo drew 2-2 against Zambia. Mulamba Ndiaye scored DR Congo's 2 goals. Yeah, remember I told you the score was 2-2 at the finals, and after extra time, nobody could score. By then, penalty shootout hasn't been introduced to the African Nations Cup, so a replay was needed, and the replay took place on the 14th of March 1974, and that is when DR Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, beat Zambia 2-0, and again Pierre Mulamba Ndiaye scored all the 2 goals for them. So he has the most goals in a single tournament. That is 1974. He scored 9 goals. No player is yet to break that record. The first final to go on penalty shootout was Libya 1982. Again, Ghana defeated Libya 7-6 on penalties after a 2-all draw. Georgia Lassan of Ghana won the top scorer award with 5 goals. In fact, that Georgia Lassan is not a Ghanaian. Yeah, he is not a Ghanaian. His mother is from Burkina Faso. His dad is from Burkina Faso. So automatically he is not a Ghanaian. However, the mother and the father were living in Ghana, and he grew up in Ghana. So he decided to play for Ghana, even though he had a choice of either playing for Burkina Faso or Ghana. In 1978 Nations Cup, when Ghana played against his home country, Burkina Faso, at that time it was called Upper Volta. Ghana beat them 3-0. He scored twice. He scored 2 goals against Upper Volta, his own country. Yeah, that is George Alassane. Yeah. The longest penalty shootout in the AFCON history was between Ivory Coast and Ghana, again in Senegal 1992. In Senegal 92, you remember I told you that it went to penalties after 0-0 draw. Yeah, and if you remember, some 23 years later, 2015, when Ghana and Ivory Coast went to the finals again, it was 0-0 again and penalties, and we almost recreated what happened in 1992. It was 9-8 again. The Ivory Coast won. Ivory Coast of La Côte d'Ivoire, they won it. So 2 times Côte d'Ivoire have beaten Ghana at the finals to win the Nations Cup. Morocco won its first and only AFCON in Ethiopia 1976. That is some 49 years ago. Incidentally, it was the only time a final has to be contested. A final has not been contested. You know, what happened was that in the final, okay, we did not play a final. We did not play a final, but Morocco still won. How they won it, how they did it, is very interesting. It was the only time a final was not contested, yet we had a winner. This is what happened. Morocco and Nigeria had qualified from their group. They were in Group B. They qualified from Group B. Egypt and Guinea had also qualified from their group. That is Group A. Instead of a semi-final and a final, the 4 teams engage in a league format, and the winner of the 4 teams will become the champion. You understand me? Going into the last round of matches, Egypt had 0 points. Nigeria had 1 point. Guinea had 3 points. And Morocco had 4 points. Both Egypt and Nigeria were out practically and technically. They were out because they were playing. Nigeria and Egypt were playing each other, and Guinea and Morocco were also playing each other. So even if nobody wins that game and it ends the draw, you know, the Nigeria and Egypt one was meaningless. You understand what I mean? Guinea required a win, whereas Morocco needed just a draw. A draw will ensure that Morocco gets the cup, and a win for Guinea means Guinea gets the cup. The stage was set for a cracker, and boy, it was delivered. At Addis Ababa Sports Stadium, under referee Nyirenda Chayu of Zambia. I hope you remember him. Nyirenda Chayu, he was a Zambian referee. He was very, very good. Very good referee. We were set for 14th of March, 1976. That is when the final took place. The game was only 32 minutes. Yeah, it was only 32 minutes old when 1972 African best player Sherif Suleimani, plying his trade for Hafia FC, struck first. He struck first. So Guinea won, Morocco nil. Try as Morocco did, they couldn't find a way past the West Africans. At that moment, Guinea was on 5 points, whilst Morocco stayed at 4 points, meaning Guinea would win the 1976 AFCON if it stayed 1-0. Yeah, If the game stays 1-0, Guinea wins the AFCON and Morocco is out. However, 4 minutes to end proceedings, that is in the 86th minute, Ahmed Makrouf, popularly known as Baba, brought the Moroccans level. He struck and the Moroccans were level. The Guineans halved and puffed, yet couldn't find the decisive second goal. Morocco then achieved its goal of winning the 1976 African Cup of Nations. So that is how come Morocco won the 1976 African Cup of Nations. The reason why I wasted some time on Morocco was that Morocco is the host of this nations of this edition of the Nations Cup, the 35th edition Nations Cup. Yeah, they are the host, and they are the team, the only African team to have been to the semi-finals of the World Cup, which of course happened in Qatar 2022. So that is what I have for you today. Enjoy your day. My name again is Richard Darko. You can watch me on YouTube. If you like the video, you have to subscribe and share. Thank you.